Hello, my fellow flawless, limitless, sexy, sassy, saucy HBICs. How are you on this lovely morning, afternoon, or evening? How are you all? I hope you're all doing fabulous. I hope you're all choosing to be the versions of yourself that have exactly what you want. I hope that's what you're doing. Yes, I do. Well, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know that when I make this style of video, there probably won't be any editing because I don't have time today, but I want this video up. I'm sure you don't care, and you'll probably not even notice. Let's get right into it. Okay, I've noticed that there has been a lot of SP questions on my channel as of late. So I want to make a video on your specific person and what I feel are some of the most important aspects to remember while manifesting a specific person. Now, remember anything we discuss on my channel, these are tips and tricks. These are not the one and only way to manifest. They're tips and tricks from my personal experiences. I think we sometimes need to spell that out because you're all individuals and you're going to find what works for you. Okay? Okay. One of the most important things I feel that should be remembered while manifesting a specific person, and to be perfectly honest, while manifesting anything, is number one, you're manifesting all the time, consciously or unconsciously, all the time. It's not something that you're picking up and putting down. You might think you're taking a little break from manifestation stuff, but you're still manifesting. You are source. You are always in the eternal now. I don't mean the present moment. I mean the eternal now. Another way of looking at that is you are always in connection to the quantum field, the infinite possibilities that never stops. You might get distracted while living your physical 3D life, but you're always in that connection because you are consciousness. That's important to remember. You see, I've seen all sorts of videos out there on the YouTubes of other creators talking about their perceptions, their opinions, perspectives on manifesting a specific person. And I know that there is content out there where some people don't think that you should manifest a specific person, that you shouldn't try to zero in on one person. And I can respect anybody else's opinion. And no, this whole video isn't going to be about this particular topic, but I think that if you are someone manifesting a specific person and hearing that type of information, you might find it triggering. I want you to know, or at least to bookmark this video and come back to me saying, you can manifest absolutely anything and everything. There are no limits to what you can manifest. Zero limits, limitless. And that includes people. Why? Because you are connected in consciousness to everyone, to everything, to any possible anything. Unlimited anything, including people. So yes, you can manifest a specific person. People that don't agree with that, well, probably in their reality, from their perspective, perhaps they're seeing evidence that validates that information to them. But just like I said in the beginning of the video, that's just their opinion. That's their reality. In my reality, I experience not only, well, my own evidence, I live with my specific person, but also seeing constant evidence of other people manifesting their specific person. So from my perspective, in my reality, it's a real thing that you really can do. Okay? And I think that when anyone puts a limit onto what you can manifest, to me, that's an automatic, that person is in some kind of separation. some form of duality. Where over here, we are not. We are in tune with or awakened to non-duality. All the one, the absolute, God, source, higher power, source energy, moonbeams, universe, all one. One conscious mind that we all are in connection to. And in the quantum field and the infinite possibilities, no one can predict one thing from another because they're constantly changing, constantly based on how things are being viewed, observed, based on the individual. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, hitting that home, yes, you can manifest a specific person. Anybody that tells you differently, they have their own limited belief, period. And they're allowed to have their opinions. But that doesn't mean that their opinion is right or is correct for you. I also think another very important thing is not conditioning your reality. All I mean by that is, for any of you manifesting a specific person that you've already had some kind of intermingling with, maybe a prior relationship, maybe you guys have gotten together and then broken up again, to not compare the original manifestation. So like you first manifesting the first, the first group together, how your relationship looked like the first time versus the now. I see so many people get stuck in that trap of, well, the last time I manifested my person back, it only took such and such amount of time. The last time I manifested my specific person, I had this kind of, movement or evidence. And this time I don't see anything. This time seems to be like it's taking longer. Stop comparing your old experience to the new, because we don't want to manifest from the known. We want to manifest from the unknown, don't we? And there is a big difference. And Dr. Joe Dispenza goes into this. We talk about this in our VIP, the Advanced Manifestors channel membership. Speaking of which, I'm going to share with you a little success story about manifesting something specifically that we read about in today's group meeting. If you're interested in joining any of the channel memberships, I really encourage you to take a look at the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors. That is the group, that is the top tier group. It's the highest one I have. But that group, if you select that one, your one monthly payment gives you access to all the other channel memberships. And the VIP Advanced Manifestors group are the group that has all the recordings from all 3 channel memberships. Not each membership gives you the access to the replays, the recordings. The VIP group gets them all. The VIP group also gets private Zoom hangouts with me. I know that sounded kind of weird, but instead of doing like a private YouTube, even though we have done them, private YouTube live streams, instead I send out a little Zoom link for all the VIP members to hop on, and it's like hanging out with me for a few hours on the weekend where, there's no rules. We can talk about any topic or stay on manifestation as well. And that doesn't count as the weekly membership meeting. I guess I should say that as far as the memberships, all 3 memberships get together every single week. So it doesn't matter what membership you join, we have a weekly meeting every week. So if you join the VIP, the Advanced Manifestors, that means we have 3 total meetings that you have access to every single week. It's a great place to meet like-minded people. Listen, there's even a very large group, if not all of them in the VIP group, who now have their own little private, like WhatsApp little get together where they can chit chat with each other anytime they want, outside of the meetings. and they're growing as friends. That's the beauty of that. But just saying, in that group membership today, Dr. Joe was talking about manifesting from the known versus the unknown. The known, we have talked about this before on my channel, but manifesting from the known is when you're lugging all your fucking baggage into the new manifestation. So an example of that would be if you're manifesting a specific person, like I said earlier, and it's someone that you have had, a relationship with before or some kind of situationship with, there's a really high tendency to bring the known with you. So let's say you had the experience of being cheated on or just being broken up with, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe even something, unfortunately traumatic. Breakups can be traumatic, in my opinion. At least they are to me, unless I'm the one doing the breaking up with, you know what I'm saying? But when we have those previous experiences, which I can tell you, girl, I have lived that journey. We unfortunately can get into a habit or mindset where we bring that baggage of that original experience with us, where we're constantly thinking and viewing a specific person as the old version of themselves. And that's manifesting from the known, even though it's not your intention, right? I'm sure you are not purposely trying to manifest a repeat performance, right? We don't want to be stuck in a cycle or a pattern, but that's how people get stuck in the damn patterns and the cycles, is because they're not aware just how much they are really walking around identifying as their old self. They're manifesting from what they already know. And like I said about comparing the original manifestation to the new manifestation, you're manifesting from the known. We don't want to do that. Now, again, I don't want you to hear that and think, oh my God, there's another rule I have to do. No, 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 no. It's not really a rule. It's just, it is what it is until you see through that yourself and remember, wait a minute, I'm source. I'm source. My relationship doesn't have to repeat that pattern. I don't have to manifest the same version of my person back. I'm source. I'm already whole. There's nothing to fix. I am deserving and will have a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship. So the past I think I experienced really doesn't have to mean a damn thing if I don't want it to. I have choice. I have an option. So yes, one of the things I see a lot is people dragging the past with them, manifesting from the known. Now put a little comma into that manifesting in the known. In my opinion, the constant judging and conditioning of reality is something I see trip a lot of people up. So an example of that would be, well, I've been manifesting such and such specific person for however long, and I don't see anything changing in reality. I don't see anything out here as evidence or validation that, I'm going to get what I want. Okay. Is that who you want to be? Is that how you really want to view your reality? You can. You're entitled to any perspective you want because it's your reality. It's your world. It's your rules, right? Your conscious thought, your conscious decision, how you view reality is your own law. When you think about who you really believe you are, think of that as that is your law over your reality. Who you believe you are, who you walk around identifying as is the law. So if you're walking around consistently in the mindset that nothing's changing, nothing's working, I'm afraid this isn't going to happen, are you really remembering your source? Do you really believe your source in that moment? Or are you still in the old identity? Well, no wonder you would view reality that way. Of course you would have that perspective. That makes sense. That makes sense to you and your five senses. Once again, bringing it back to manifesting from the known. You have no idea how your manifestation is going to come to you. And I know for any of you that are loyal to my channel, you've heard me say that a million times. So sorry for the repeat info, but some people need to hear this. You have literally zero clue how your manifestation is going to show up for you. You have no clue at all. Do you really understand that? Do you really understand that? Don't blow that part off. Hear what I'm saying. If you don't know how it's going to unfold, how are you judging reality? How and why would you condition reality as nothing's changing, nothing's working? I don't have any evidence. I don't have any proof that my manifestation is working. My friend, you're the proof. Your perspective, your perception of reality is the proof. It's who you are. Now, again, this isn't to put you in the direction of beating yourself up and making you afraid of your thoughts and feelings. No. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to the place of accepting your God, your source. I also have seen some comments in, questioning the idea of whenever I think about being God or being source of my reality, I feel uncomfortable. Well, if you grew up under any type of religion, I understand why that feels uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for me too. It didn't make sense because I was taught there is only one God and you should not put another God in front of the one and only God. I grew up under Catholicism, so that's okay. Nobody needs you to walk around all day long, asserting to yourself that you're God. I'm God. I'm God. I shouldn't have a bad day because I'm God. No, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. It might make you feel better and a little more accepting or open to the idea to think of it as God is within you. How about that? God is within you. That's good enough. Accepting that is good enough. I know that accepting that is enough because I certainly manifested plenty of things while I was still in that mindset, right? Again, it felt blasphemous for me to just, oh yes, I'm God. I am God. It just made me totally uncomfortable. So until I was ready to fully understand and accept that, God is within me. Good enough. And let me tell you again why it's good enough. It's good enough because before you ever woke up to even knowing that your consciousness is the Christ consciousness, you were manifesting. You've been manifesting your whole life, going back to the first point. You never stop manifesting. It's happening 24/7 of that boring ass linear time. 24/7. Boom, ba boom, ba boom. Manifest. It's happening so much that sometimes I have said several times over the last 4 years, I've said I've considered changing my channel name to something else other than Manifesting with Kimberly. But I know so many of you know me just as that channel name because it isn't something special we're doing. It isn't. It's who we are. It's just what we do. As beings, it's just what we do. Manifesting everything in our reality. It's not some special new bag of tricks. Get what I'm saying? But my point in that is, I don't believe that you have to believe everything that you're, let's say, trying to buy into as your new version of yourself. I don't think that you have to. There were plenty of things that I fully hadn't accepted and believed yet things manifested. The little concepts, the little tips and tricks that I'm giving to you in this video, I don't want you to feel like you must do them. or else you will not be successful. No, these are just tips and tricks to make your little journey of manifesting your person a little more comfortable. Because let's keep it real. When it comes to manifestation, conscious manifestation, 99% of the techniques out there are nothing but things to soothe your ego with, to make you feel better, period. Because it's a lot more fun to feel better than to feel like shit, right? We don't want this to be a miserable experience because that's not fun. I look at things like I want life to be fun. I want to enjoy my life. I want to be happy when I wake up in the morning. I want to literally have the thought, I love my life. I love my life. And when I feel like shit, I'm not loving shit. I'm not happy. And that doesn't feel good. So like I said, most of the techniques, even a lot of tips and tricks, they're not you must do or you won't manifest. They're things to soothe your ego enough to allow yourself to fucking feel good, to just relax and to know that, listen, everything is going to be okay. That's not always easy to believe when we are so uptight and, wound up pretty tight and being super emotional. It might not feel easy to just immediately accept that things are going to work out. So we reach for techniques to help us feel a little bit better. But what I'm trying to say is the techniques are not manifesting for you. And they never have been. And a lot of techniques are taught from the place of that you need to do these things in order to get your desire. And that's just simply not true. Back to the beginning of knowing your source. Another way of saying that is you are pure, unadulterated consciousness. That's unconditional love. Hear that word, unconditional love. You were always in full connection to anything and everything you could ever possibly desire. Anything and everything that you could ever even possibly think of. You were always right there with it. Always. But we can lose sight of that when we're all involved with our human ego side of life. And the ego isn't bad. I say that like a disclaimer every time I mention ego, because I don't want you afraid of your mind. There's nothing to be afraid of. Really think about who you are. What do you want life to look like? What do you want your relationship to look like? Isn't it exciting to know that you right now, technically, are like shopping from the luxury love store, and you get to pick out all the things you want to experience between you and your specific person, and how you want to feel while being with your specific person, how you want your specific person to show up and treat you. You get to choose that. But sometimes when we are so blinded by what we think reality is showing us, well, I haven't had any movement. I'm not even getting BBLs. I haven't heard from my specific person in, 3 months, blah, 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 or a year, 25 years. It's easy to get sucked into those details and get blinded by them. While the whole time you're being blinded by the garbage of 3D reality, you've had the ability and the access to allow yourself to really fine tune what you want to experience with your person. So while you're busy looking out at the 3D, looking at the the known, what we believe through our senses that we're experiencing, you could have been instead shopping from your luxury love store and getting specific on how you want that relationship to look, how you want to be treated, and then letting yourself experience it in imagination. And I'm going to say it before anybody else does. I know you don't want to just experience it in your fucking imagination. I know you want it in the 3D, and you will have it. You will. You could have it 30 seconds from now if you would stop saying you don't have it. If you would stop agreeing with that thought. I saw another question saying something along the lines of, how am I supposed to just be okay when I don't have it in the 3D? How am I supposed to just convince myself that I have something I don't have? No one ever said, at least this channel, no one ever said you have to walk around pretending that the relationship is right in front of your fucking face. But kind of like if you got your driver's license, when you took your permit test and you knew you were going to schedule your driver's license test, you knew you were eventually going to get your license. You didn't have to walk around convincing yourself that your license was already in your wallet. Do you see what I'm saying? And it still manifested. It still happened. You still ended up getting your driver's license. It's okay to be aware that your specific person isn't here. You don't have to walk around and pretend you have something you don't have. So people hear that and take that so literal. No, at least from my perspective, it's opening up your mind a little bit bigger, past just 3D, and accepting, oh, we could say 4D, 5D, the eternal now me is the me that will experience the relationship in the 3D. I can buy into that. I can know that, oh, that is something I am going to experience. So I don't have to keep saying I don't have it. Did you walk around continuously? I don't have my license. I don't have my license. I don't have my license. Did you have to walk around and say, I have my license. I have my license. I have my license? No. You just stopped fighting with the idea that you don't have it. Did you have to make yourself convinced that you are the version of yourself that will have your driver's license? No. You just stopped fighting with the not having. I don't need you to set a fucking extra plate out for dinner because you're manifesting a specific person. I don't need you to leave room in the closet for your specific person's clothes. I don't need you to lay down an extra pillow in your bed for your specific person, unless all of those things feel good and exciting for you. Then go ahead and do them. What I'm trying to say is think bigger than just what's right in front of your face. Think bigger. Really hear me when I say you are an infinite being. You, right now as we're sitting here, are directly connected to the now, the eternal now, where the infinite possibilities are swirling all around your ass. Yours for the taking. If you would just stop fighting with the idea that you're not. This is what I mean when I say people spend more fucking time arguing for their limitations than they do arguing for their limitlessness. Your source. There's nothing you can't have. Nothing. Now, let me give you a little something that we also read. I just think this is a cute little success story, and it kind of, just made me very excited. So, in the book that we're reading by Dr. Joe, he gave an example about this. And by the way, if you don't know who I'm talking about Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he was talking about a scientific experiment where these scientists took and made a little robot. And they put this mechanical robot, well, I guess a robot would be mechanical, right? They put this robot and they programmed it for 50% of the time, it would turn right. The other 50% of the time, it would turn left. and they put it inside of a giant stadium and just let it go inside the stadium. I'm picturing like a hockey stadium, right? Where they got hockey, the ice on the ground. So this robot is moving and blah, blah, blah. And then they introduced baby chicks. Yeah, little baby chicks. And well, if you didn't know, baby chicks, the first moving thing a baby chick sees, they imprint on, and they see it as their mommy, even if it's not really their mommy. Kind of like baby chicks who no longer have their mommy will usually take to their human. Okay. So they put the little baby chicks in, all for the experiment, to see, A, if the baby chick would take to the little robot, and they did. The little baby chick started following the robot wherever it went, and it went around the whole stadium like it originally was. And then the scientists took the baby chicks away from the robot, and they put them inside a little crate or something that contained the chicks. So the chicks could still see the little robot, but they no longer had the access to follow it around. Guess what ended up happening? The robot stopped moving around the entire ice rink or the stadium like it had to begin with. It stopped. It started hovering only around the chick's little gated area. If you knew the robot didn't have its own thinking mind, the little chickies manifested their mama to stay close to them. Do you hear that? Little baby chickies with their little baby minds were able to get this robot that could only turn left or right to stop doing what it was doing and started hovering around the crate. And just for any of my logical thinkers, no, it's not because the robot was stuck near the gated area and it couldn't get itself back out. No, it changed. So if a little baby chick can change how this programmed robot shows up for them in their reality, why you, as a big old human, why do you doubt yourself? Why do you assume that it has to be hard to manifest your person? Now, I know not every single SP manifester thinks it's hard, but some of you do. Some of you do. Some of you get very frustrated. And let me just say, if you're being honest with me, when you're frustrated, what is it that's bothering you? What you think you see or don't see in 3D reality? More than likely it's that, or it's shitty thoughts that are coming in. And why do they bother you? Do you have to believe every thought that comes into your mind? No, because you're not your thoughts. And this isn't me trying to tell you that, well, every time you do that, every time you spiral, you're making this last longer. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't think us having our feelings and emotions really matter. I don't think our feelings and emotions stop our manifestations. But that's what I believe. So that's true for me in my reality. It's up to you to decide if you accept that for yourself. If you are sad, frustrated, angry about what you are experiencing with your five senses, be honest with yourself. Aren't you in that moment conditioning your reality, comparing it to what you believe should be happening for you to be able to trust that your manifestation is working? That's manifesting from the known, from the past. We don't want to do that. Because especially if you're manifesting your person back, the last thing we do is want a repeat of the past. We want the new, loving, fulfilling, committed relationship where you don't end up having to manifest their fucking asses back, right? So allow yourself to manifest from the unknown. What's the unknown? A new experience, a new way to have your love relationship. in reality, where this time you can actually trust your specific person and enjoy their company without having to overanalyze everything that fucking comes out of their mouth, without having to overanalyze everything they do or don't do on social media. Can you imagine living so freely, so confidently that you can trust what your specific person does? And by trust, I mean, you don't even have to second guess yourself because you're so confident in who the hell you are that you know that you are the best thing to ever happen to your person and they're lucky as shit to have you, but now they know it and they agree with that and they'll do whatever they can to keep you. Wouldn't that be a lot more fun? And if you've never experienced that, well, good. Now you're manifesting from the unknown, which is exactly what we want. We don't want to repeat, right? But let me just end this video with, don't you ever let anybody try to talk you out of manifesting something you want. It is your life, baby. You're the one who's going to get to be 100 years old and look back on your life, and you don't want regrets. None of us do. We want to know that we went after every single thing we wanted. That's what I want anyway, and I'm assuming you might agree with that. Don't you let people talk you out of your dreams. Let them do what they want in their damn reality, the boring ass bastards. We don't care what they're doing. And don't let people tell you what you're doing right or wrong. In manifestation, manifestation is about you, the individual, finding out what works for you, not what this other person does. It matters what you think, what you believe to be true, not anybody else. Your source. You're limitless. So on that note, I don't know if you could hear her snoring, but she couldn't be more bored. And she is done with me talking about manifesting a specific person. So thank you very much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, I would appreciate you giving this video a like. And of course, subscribing if you are new here. And let me know in the comments below that you are new. Because if I see that comment, you're going to hear back from me. I want to know who my new friends are. And let me just know. Are you going to stand in your decision? Are you going to stand in the authority of you being source? Are you going to stand in the knowing that you will have whatever you want and you're not letting anybody else tell you shit unless you like what they're saying? Let me know in the comments. So on that note, I'll see you tomorrow.